Hello and welcome. Now this is going to be my review of the Columbia River knife and tool Liong Mah Design number 5 knife. I'm going to go through some specifications first of all. The overall length of this pocket knife is 6.4 inches or 16.5 centimeters. That's open. The blade length is 2.7 inches or 7.1 centimeters. The cutting edge is 2.5 inches or 6.6 centimeters, and the weight is 3.5 ounces or 99.4 grams. Okay, so there is this knife designer. He designs other things like the CRKT Eaton tool, I think it's called. His name's Liong Mah, and he designed this knife. This is the number 5. The difference between this number 5 and the number 6 is the number 6 has VEF flat top serrations. I hope I said that right, but it just has some serrations there. That's really the only difference. It's a UK legal knife to carry, because it has no locking mechanism, and the cutting edge is under 3 inches. The handle scales are a polished G10, very smooth, not that grippy really. They don't give you that much traction. The pocket clip is it's one way only. It's right side carry, but it's very deep. I like that. It's a very deep pocket clip. It seems to be quite a nice pocket clip also. The deployment, well, I wouldn't say it's necessarily meant to be open one-handed. I mean, you can kind of open it one-handed like that, but please take note of where the finger scalloping or choils are. Okay, the roof of the spine, or the part that goes over the blade, it's kind of like a, I don't know what you'd call it, but there's like an overlap there that stops where you would naturally put your thumb to deploy the blade. So it only gives you a small amount of area there to deploy it. I would have loved if Liong Mah had carried that forward. I don't know why he didn't, and why the main part of the grip for the thumb is actually where this large scalloping is, because you can't really deploy it there because of the leverage. There's just too much of the blade that way to whip out. And you can't really deploy it that way, but that's the deployment anyway. I would naturally deploy it two-handed anyway, seeing as it's a UK legal knife. I wouldn't want to, whip it out very quickly anyway. But it is possible one-handed. Ergonomics, going back to this positive finger choil areas, they're positive in that they go upwards rather than the conventional kind of going downwards, if that makes sense to you. You'll see when I put it in my hand that I mean, I've got large hands, but as you can see, it kind of rides up. Your fingers ride up towards the edge of the cutouts. But I've got large hands, and it is quite comfortable. Your natural instinct would be to put the thumb on the jimping on the top of the spine of the blade there. That would be your natural assumption. But if you do that, it's very weak. Okay, the back spring, or it hasn't really got a back spring. It's more of a ball detent from where it, closes, where it's closed. There's another one at the top, so it's very loose in retaining that blade when it's deployed. So your natural instinct would be to put your thumb there. I wouldn't. There's jimping on the spine of the handle and there's cut out there for your thumb, and it does feel a bit short doing that. But at least you can put pressure on the handle scale rather than the spine, which is a lot safer. I mean, we are dealing with a very unsafe knife anyway because it doesn't have a lock. They're more dangerous to the user. But anyway, so the ergonomics, yes, it's quite comfortable. It did come with like a little lanyard thing, but it's a piece of crap really, in my opinion. You're much better putting your own paracord through one of these pillars here. Speaking of the pillars and the liners, they're very thin liners, and there's a large chunk milled out, if you can see top and bottom. I would have liked it if they'd milled out more, but they're quite thin liners and they don't really add to the weight that much, I wouldn't have thought. Okay, like I say, it's a non-locking knife, so it is legal to carry in the UK. The blade steel is 8CR 14 MOV, not 13 MOV. It is a low-end steel, but you can get it quite sharp. It just won't hold that edge for that long. Alright, I do like the blade shape. It's very useful, kind of like a spear point really. Blade shape, it's very useful. Nice bit of belly, but also a bit of a point as well. The price of one of these will set you back round about £40. Honestly, I do think it's overpriced, considering that you can get a, I'll get the black one, considering that you can get a Spyderco UKPK, which weighs absolutely nothing, with FRN handle scales and much better blade steel for around the same price. Again, with a deep carry, better pocket clip in my opinion, with a stronger back spring. But it's not a versus video, it's just a little comparison there. But I do think it is heavily overpriced for what you get. Do the handle scales need to be polished? The G10, do they need to be? That adds an extra couple of stages in the production, and there's a lot of things going on. There's a lot of things going on in the pivot screw and the liners, the pocket clip, all these extra screws. There's just a lot of things going on, which I would have thought bump the price up. But anyway, that's that. I do think it is overpriced though for what you're getting. I mean, I will do some comparisons in a little second, but I'll just finish my kind of this part of the review by saying, obviously, things I don't really like is the deployment. It's not, I mean, look at that, it's not very easy to, one of the main things about a knife is you've got to deploy it. And if you're having to resort to, even with two-handed, you have to still find purchase on this overlap here of the knife to deploy it. You can't always rely on your one-handed opening, so that's a big downfall for me. And obviously the other downfall is here with the putting your thumb on the spine of the blade. Another downfall is the design of these finger choils. Yes, it does mean it's kind of comfortable, but your little finger may slip off. Positives though, end on a positive note, the blade shape is very useful. It's okay steel. There is jimping on the spine there. The pocket clip is good, and the weight isn't too bad. Okay, so that's that. I'm going to do some size comparisons then. Alright, so this is the CRKT Liong Mah Design number 5. This is next to a Spyderco UKPK, which I would have thought is the main competitor. It's not going to knock it off its crown though, in my opinion. Spyderco Tenacious for everybody that can carry locking knives. So it's smaller than a UKPK. Obviously the blade's smaller, well, the cutting length is smaller. So there's some size comparisons there. We'll just do another size comparison with a Burka Trans 42, which is what I think this knife is looking at as well. It's very similar size overall to a Burka Trans 42. Slightly better steel, OS 8, but more prone to rusting, especially if you bead blast it. And but that's a similar price as well. Okay, so there were just some comparisons. I am over the honeymoon period. I haven't just bought this knife or just received it. I have spent a fair while carrying it, using it, trying to deploy it, and I must say I'm just not a big fan. I give you honest reviews. These aren't given to me. I do buy these with hard-earned money, and my honest review is I'm just not a big fan of this. If for a couple of quid more, I don't know why you wouldn't buy a UKPK, which is lighter, longer blade length, is still UK carry, and better steel. I just don't know why you wouldn't get that. But for all those people that like CRKT and they're a bit of a fan for them, this is still an adequate knife for all your cutting tasks, and it's just another one to add to the UK legal knife collection before they ban every every sharp thing possible. Anyway, that's my review. Please do comment, rate and subscribe. Put a little comment if you've got this knife. I welcome all the comments, negative ones as well about this, of course, and how it can be improved. Thanks ever so much for watching and bearing with me. Take care.